You've heard of Riva, the symbol of timeless boating luxury. You've heard of Lamborghini, the king of Italian performance. But here's what'll blow your mind. In 1968, Ferruccio Lamborghini commissioned a one-off Riva Aquarama, powered by twin Miura V12 engines, something no Riva had ever done. You didn't know it existed, did you? It was hidden away for decades, until one day it resurfaced. What they found inside wasn't just rare, it was shocking. And the full story of when luxury meets power, it's even crazier than you think. Before Lamborghini ever touched it, the Riva Aquarama was already an icon. Unveiled in 1962 by Carlo Riva, this handcrafted mahogany speedboat set the benchmark for nautical luxury. Built in Sarnico, Italy, along the shores of Lake Iseo, the Aquarama's design was inspired by American runabouts, but refined with Italian style. Its name was a nod to the widescreen Cinerama film format, fitting for a boat that looked like it belonged on a movie set. Each Aquarama was built from African mahogany and finished with up to 24 layers of varnish, hand-polished to a mirror-like sheen. The deck fittings were solid brass or chrome-plated bronze, and the seating was upholstered in marine-grade leather. Measuring between 8.02 and 8.78 meters in length, with a beam around 2.6 meters, the boat could comfortably accommodate up to 8 people and was outfitted with twin V8 marine engines, typically from Crusader, Chrysler, or Chris-Craft, delivering 185 to 350 horsepower each. Top speeds ranged from 40 to 45 knots, depending on the model. That wasn't just fast for a wooden boat, it was elite. The Aquarama quickly became the must-have vessel for celebrities, royalty, and the ultra-rich. Owners included Sophia Loren, Brigitte Bardot, Peter Sellers, and the Shah of Iran. Production continued until 1996, with only around 765 to 769 boats ever built across 4 official variants: the Aquarama, Super Aquarama, Aquarama Lungo, and Aquarama Special. This wasn't just a boat, it was the nautical equivalent of a vintage Ferrari. Custom, glamorous, fast, and proudly Italian. The Riva Aquarama didn't just redefine marine craftsmanship, it became a symbol of Mediterranean culture and 20th century luxury. Now hit subscribe if you're already loving this video, and get ready, because what's coming isn't just a rare boat. It's a Lamborghini without wheels, and by the end, you'll see why this one-off Aquarama might be the most powerful statement the brand ever made. By 1968, Ferruccio Lamborghini had already disrupted the automotive world. His 350 GT had proven Lamborghini wasn't just another Italian startup. The Miura had stunned Ferrari with its radical mid-engine layout, and the Espada was redefining the Grand Tourer. But Ferruccio's passions weren't confined to the road. He also had a deep connection to the water, especially Lake Iseo, where he owned a lakeside retreat not far from the Riva shipyard in Sarnico. Riva, by then, was building the world's most luxurious wooden speedboats. The Aquarama. Twin V8 engines, exotic mahogany, and handcrafted details made them the Rolls-Royce of the water. But Ferruccio wanted something more. Something faster, louder, more exclusive. So he approached Carlo Riva with a request no one had ever made before: replace the boat's standard twin V8s with 2 Lamborghini V12 engines. The same 3.9-liter all-aluminium DOHC units from the 350 GT, designed by Giotto Bizzarini. This was no bolt-in job. The Riva engineers had to heavily modify the hull and engine bay. The V12s were longer, heavier, and ran hotter than marine V8s. The cooling system was redesigned for aquatic use, and the engines were set up in counter-rotating configuration, one clockwise, the other counterclockwise, to cancel out torque steer and maintain balance. Even the propeller shafts, exhaust routing, and weight distribution had to be recalculated. Each engine produced around 350 horsepower. giving the boat a staggering total of 700 horsepower, making it the most powerful and fastest Aquarama ever built, topping out at 48 knots. Ferruccio didn't just want a fast boat, he wanted a functional showpiece. The interior remained faithful to Riva's signature: white leather upholstery, polished chrome, mahogany decking. But custom touches were added, including reinforced ski grab rails and a modified cockpit for better performance handling. Only one of these boats was ever made, hull number 278. It was delivered directly to Ferruccio and became his personal vessel for over 2 decades. For years, the roar of its twin V12s echoed across Lake Iseo, terrifying the quiet fishermen and delighting onlookers. It wasn't just Lamborghini's most exclusive creation. It was a floating expression of everything Ferruccio stood for: boldness, beauty, and unapologetic power. After decades of roaring across Lake Iseo under Ferruccio Lamborghini's ownership, the one-of-a-kind Aquarama V12 eventually fell silent. Sometime in the late 1980s, Ferruccio sold Hull 278 to a close associate. But maintaining a 700 horsepower twin V12 wooden powerboat wasn't easy or cheap. The new owner removed the Lamborghini engines and replaced them with more conventional V8s. The original V12s were sent to the Lamborghini Museum in Sant'Agata Bolognese, where they were placed on static display. With its heart gone, the boat lost its identity. Over time, it was tucked away into storage, left in a corner of a boatyard under covers and tarps, its varnish peeling and chrome rusting. For years, it was assumed lost, or worse, destroyed. That changed in 2010. Sandro Zani, a Dutch Riva historian and collector, tracked down the forgotten hull. By examining the serial number and records from Riva's archives, he confirmed what few people believed. This was Ferruccio's personal Aquarama. It was battered and sun-bleached, but the core was intact. Zani commissioned a full restoration with Riva World in the Netherlands, a workshop known for precise, historically accurate rebuilds. The restoration took 3 years. Every inch of the mahogany hull was stripped, treated, and re-lacquered with 24 coats. Custom chrome hardware was recast using original blueprints. The dashboard and upholstery were recreated exactly as they had been in 1968, but the biggest challenge was the engines. Since the originals were museum-bound, Zani sourced 2 identical 4-liter Lamborghini V12s from the same era. One from the US, one from Europe. Both were rebuilt and marinized, just like the originals, with one engine spinning clockwise and the other counterclockwise to maintain balanced thrust. By 2013, the Aquarama Lamborghini was reborn, once again capable of hitting 48 knots and turning heads like it had in its glory days. When the restored Aquarama Lamborghini was unveiled in 2013, it wasn't just a cosmetic resurrection, it was a full mechanical revival. For the first time in decades, the twin Lamborghini V12s roared to life, now fully marinized, tuned, and installed just as Ferruccio had originally intended. The boat didn't just look like it did in 1968, it performed like it too. With 2 4-liter Lamborghini V12 engines producing 350 horsepower each, the boat regained its original total output of 700 horsepower. It wasn't just fast for a classic, it was fast by any standard. And thanks to the low center of gravity and sleek lines of the Aquarama, it cut across the water with the grace of a vintage Ferrari on asphalt. But what truly set the restored boat apart is that it's still the only Aquarama ever made with V12 Lamborghini power. It's a one-of-one, not a replica, not a tribute, but the real hull number 278. Personally commissioned by Ferruccio himself. Since its restoration, the boat has made several public appearances, including at the prestigious Masterpiece London showcase in 2017, where it drew attention not just from collectors, but also from automotive and design enthusiasts. Though its current owner remains private, the vessel is preserved and occasionally seen at exclusive yacht events and concourse shows across Europe. To this day, it remains the fastest Aquarama ever built, and unquestionably the most famous. If that surprised you, stick around and subscribe, because it gets even more unreal. This wasn't just a fast boat. Up next, we'll show you how it crushed every Riva before it and inspired Lamborghini's return to the sea decades later. At first glance, the Lamborghini Aquarama looks like any other Riva Aquarama special. Polished mahogany, white leather seating, sweeping lines, and an unmistakable Riviera silhouette. But under the deck, it's a completely different beast. The standard Riva Aquarama was produced in 4 main variants from 1962 to 1996. Aquarama, 1962 to 1971. Super Aquarama, 1963 to 1971. Aquarama Lungo, 1969 to 1972. Aquarama Special, 1972 to 1996. These boats were typically powered by twin V8 engines from American brands like Chris-Craft, Crusader, or Chrysler. Horsepower ranged from 2x 185 HP in the early models to 2x 350 HP in the last Aquarama Specials. The top speed for most was between 40 and 45 knots. The Lamborghini Aquarama, on the other hand, produced 700 horsepower via 2 Lamborghini 4-liter V12s. That extra 100 to 200 horsepower over the standard models allowed it to reach 48 knots, making it the fastest Aquarama ever built, confirmed during post-restoration sea trials. But it wasn't just about power. The entire drivetrain was reworked. The engines were set up to rotate in opposite directions. A mirrored configuration rarely used in wooden boats at the time. The mounts were specially engineered to handle the torque. The throttle linkages and gear ratios were unique. Even the weight distribution had to be recalculated, as the V12s were taller and heavier than the V8s typically used by Riva. Aesthetically, the boat kept Riva's original design language. The same deck layout, windshield shape, seating configuration, and helm position, but beneath the varnish it was essentially a prototype. A one-off hybrid between nautical elegance and automotive aggression. This was never a production model. Riva built it specifically for Ferruccio Lamborghini, with no intention of making another. It wasn't just rare, it was the physical embodiment of 2 Italian legacies fused into one: Riva's obsession with beauty and Lamborghini's addiction to speed. For Ferruccio Lamborghini, machines weren't just tools. They were personal statements. Whether it was a grand touring car or a handcrafted boat, the engineering had to reflect pride, precision, and power. That's why when he looked at the Riva Aquarama, he didn't just see luxury, he saw untapped potential, and in true Lamborghini fashion, he refused to settle. Ferruccio had already proven he could outclass Ferrari on the road. Now he wanted to create something for himself, off the record, off the books, but not off-brand. The decision to install twin 4-liter V12s into an Aquarama wasn't a marketing stunt, it was the ultimate personal project. No compromises, no committees, just speed, sound, and satisfaction. He wasn't interested in building the boat for mass production. This was about bringing Lamborghini's performance philosophy into a different element, literally. Land and water, road and lake. His estate near Lake Iseo was just a short drive from the Riva shipyard, making it easy for him to be hands-on with the process. He visited frequently during construction, offering direct input as engineers reshaped the hull, reconfigured the mounts, and tuned the engines for marine use. The result was a floating mirror of his identity. Loud, refined, aggressive, and completely one of a kind. It's no coincidence that he kept the boat for over 20 years. Unlike his cars, which were sold and reviewed and raced, this was his alone, his perfect fusion of beauty and force. The Aquarama Lamborghini wasn't built to change the world, it was built to satisfy one man's impossible standards, and in doing so, it quietly redefined what was possible when emotion and engineering collide. The Aquarama Lamborghini wasn't just a one-off. It was a turning point in marine design. Before it, boats were usually one of two things: elegant or fast, rarely both. The fusion of handcrafted mahogany luxury with exotic supercar engines didn't just defy expectations. It rewrote them. It proved that a boat could be as much a performance machine as a design statement. That legacy didn't fade when the boat was retired. It rippled outward. Although Riva never built another V12-powered Aquarama, the idea of mixing automotive performance with luxury design began to catch on. In the early 2000s, Riva launched the Aquariva, a modern reinterpretation of the classic runabout. This time it was constructed from fiberglass for ease of maintenance, but retained real mahogany accents and Riva's iconic deck styling. Powered by twin Yanmar 6LY diesel engines producing a combined 740 horsepower, the Aquariva could reach speeds of around 41 knots. It wasn't as wild as the Lamborghini boat, but it carried the same soul. Then in 2020, Lamborghini itself returned to the water, but not with Riva. Instead, the brand partnered with Italian performance yacht builder Tecnomar to create something new. The Tecnomar for Lamborghini 63. At 63 feet long and entirely made of carbon fiber, this was a superboat inspired by the Lamborghini Sian FKP37, the brand's first hybrid hypercar. Its sharp hull lines, hexagonal windows, and Y-shaped LED lights all mirrored Lamborghini's modern design language. But this wasn't just a styling exercise. Beneath the surface, the Tecnomar 63 is powered by twin MAN V12 diesel engines, delivering a staggering 4,000 horsepower. It can reach speeds of 60 knots, making it one of the fastest production yachts in the world. The number 63 commemorates Lamborghini's founding year, 1963. But the philosophy behind the boat traces back to 1968, when Ferruccio Lamborghini dared to pull his road car engines into a handcrafted Riva hull. That act of madness gave birth to an ideal: performance without compromise, elegance without limitation. The Aquarama Lamborghini didn't spawn a product line, it set a benchmark. To this day, it remains the gold standard for style and speed. And it's why the Lamborghini name commands respect on both tarmac and tide. Now you know why the Riva Aquarama Lamborghini stands alone. It wasn't just the most powerful wooden speedboat ever built. It was Ferruccio Lamborghini's personal expression of perfection, a handcrafted Italian icon, powered by two V12s, built not for the market, but for the man himself. It's a reminder that true luxury isn't about price or brand, it's about purpose. And when one man's vision collides with fearless engineering, you don't just get a boat, you get history that floats. If this story moved you, hit like and subscribe, and if you'd take this over a modern super yacht, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and for stepping into a time when speed had style and power had soul. Because sometimes the greatest machines aren't built to impress, they're built to express.